Morning, honorable members. Can I plead with members we give another 5 minutes? We're still trying to track one member who is not in the platform currently.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thanks.
Who's that member?
That is Mr. Nchabeleng, sir.
Oh, Alex.
Yes.
All right. No, Zama Tamutswara. Zama, can you check in Chabele in there?
China, I know Chabeling is in isolation. Maybe he's not feeling well.
How's that?
Yes.
I also went for a test yesterday.
Hey, you need to be cautious, mate.
Good morning.
I went to test yesterday.
Oh.
Good morning,
But
honorable members.
We are still waiting for the results. Hello, Shelley.
But
Good morning, honorable members.
Eunice,
You
why did
are
you go for a
looking
test?
perfect today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Irra. Yes, sir. You are looking. You are looking. And no, my honorable members, they are on point.
Good morning, Shirley. I'm not going to switch on my video. I'm not in a good area for the signal.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Honorable Gillian, I did not see you in the training. Were you held up?
I had a bereavement in my family. I'm home now. That's why I don't have a nice signal.
Okay, ma'am. Yes. I just wanted to Honorable Mimang is laughing about what you just said. About switching on the video. So I was yeah, it was discussed in the training.
Yes. But the signal isn't good here, so I'm trying to just.
Yes, ma'am.
No, it was a good workshop.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
Honorable members, I think we can start the meeting. I see Mr. Nchabeleng has just joined us.
Thank you.
My name is Nkululeko Mangweni. I'm the committee secretary. I am tasked to elect the chairperson of this committee. I'm looking at the members present. I've got Mr. Moimang, Ms. Gillian, Mr. Totovu, Mr. Karim, Mr. Nchabeleng, Mr. Tutoy, Ms. Fisar, Mr. Sileku, Mr. Zamdela. These are the members that are currently present. As I've said, my task is to elect the chairperson members, and in the rules, 9th edition, March 2008, Rule 91, 1A reads as follows. A committee must elect one of its members as the chairperson of the committee. So we are invoking that rule. I am going to allow for hands to elect or nominate the chairpersons.
Chairperson, can I nominate somebody?
Yes, Mr. Karim, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Chairperson, firstly, I want to say I'm deeply disappointed. I've been campaigning vigorously over the last few days to get elected as chairperson. And I've even tried to buy the votes of everybody. And sadly, it hasn't worked. So now I reluctantly concede that I cannot chair this committee. So, Comrade, I'm a chairperson on a serious note. It's my considerable pleasure to nominate China Dodovu, Honorable China Dodovu, because obviously he is the person ideally suited to chair this committee, because ultimately, whatever the other issues are, it deals with governance and cooperative governance. And given his considerable experience in the province and now in the NCOP and politically, I am delighted to nominate Mr. Dodovu to chair this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Karim. I see Mr. Moimang has his hand up as well.
Thank you, Committee Secretary. I was rising to actually then move to second that nomination as given the motivation given. Thank you.
The nomination of Mr. China Dodovu has been seconded. Mr. Dodovu, do you accept the nomination?
Thank you very much. Yes, I do accept the nomination.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Are there any other hands? Going once, twice, it's gone. So Mr. China Dodovu has been duly elected as the chairperson. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. China.
Thank you very much, the acting chairperson of this meeting, for facilitating this brief assignment of facilitating the election of the chairperson. Honorable members, let me start by saying that I express my fervent appreciation for the honor and the privilege bestowed in me to chair this important work of the Ad Hoc Committee on the intervention in terms of Section 100 of the Constitution in the Northwest. This is an important task of the NCOP. As you are aware, in terms of Section 100, subsection 2.b, it states that on a regular basis, the NCOP will review the work of the intervention once the National Executive has invoked Section 101B of the Constitution in relation to the intervention in any province. Now, this is our task, and the NCOP has given us this mammoth task to ensure that within a very short space of time, we accomplish it, we do whatever that it takes to ensure that we understand properly what is the situation, what is the progress registered in the Northwest in terms of the intervention, what are the lessons to be learned out of that process, what are the successes and what are the stumbling blocks in relation to completing this particular work of the intervention. And as I said, I express my appreciation for giving me this opportunity to chair the Ad Hoc Committee. As usual, I'm going to do everything within my power to ensure that I competently and professionally coordinate the work of this committee to ensure that at the end of the day, we present a very clear report to the House with clear recommendations and what is it that needs to be done. We are going to ensure that we interact with the relevant stakeholders, those who are responsible in this particular instance, in line with the report that was presented before the House by the Minister, as well as the provincial government of the Northwest. And on that score, I want to really thank you very much. And as I indicated, I'll try my level best to be impartial, to be fair, to be independent in the work that we do collectively as members of the committee. And I'm quite happy that all the political parties have expressed in silence their appreciation that I'm facilitating this particular work. Now, moving forward, what we are going to do is that as the chairperson, I'm going to once more look at what I call the assignment, or what we call the terms of reference. What is it that is expected of us, and develop a plan, a roadmap in terms of how, in precision, we are going to accomplish this task that is before us, in terms of what is it that we need to do. As you are aware, in terms of our mandate, we are expected to report before the House by the 26th or 27th of March. It means we have to hit the ground running. We have to put up systems in place. We have to put up structures in place. We have to coordinate our effort. We have to finalize the program of this ad hoc committee. We have to decide when we are going to visit the province. If we want to do that, we are going to have to develop a strategy of accomplishing this. And as a chairperson, I'm going to lead from the front in terms of coordinating this work. But at the same time, I'm also going to invite honorable members to make submissions, to make the necessary inputs in terms of what is it that they think we need to do to ensure that within this very short space of time, we do our work diligently, competently, and professionally, and accordingly report to the House. And on that note, I want to express once again my appreciation that I'm chairing this particular ad hoc committee. Yes, thank you very much. The next point that I want us to do is to just have a brief discussion, a very, very short discussion on what members think we ought to do as a starting point. And if there are no contributions or inputs to empower that, what I'm going to do in terms of preparing a framework that we shall discuss and adopt here is well and good. But if preliminarily members want to express one point or two, you are free to do that. Thank you very much. Over to you, honorable members. I see Mr. Ditoy raising up his hand.
Zandamela.
Mr. Zandamela, and yes, Mr. Zandamela, and Mr. Kenny Muima. Thank you very much. Honorable Kenny Muima. In that order, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this committee. I believe that we all hope to get positive results with our interaction with the province. Chair, since there's no legacy report that we will be able to be tabled in front of us, could I ask if, Nkululeko, if you perhaps know, is there any other documentation that was not submitted or provided to the House when the Minister presented on the previous occasion? If so, if we could be supplied with that to prepare ourselves duly before we take on this mammoth task. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Zandamela. Honorable Zandamela.
No, thanks, Chair.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Very well.
Thanks. I think partly covered by Honorable Ditoy. But just to add something that can just be provided with the detailed information, the progress that has been made. Yeah, it's basically documentation, so that at least we some of us, we are new to this committee that will be dealing with the intervention in the program. So if perhaps we can just be provided with the information, we'll appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Honorable Mimang.
Thank you, Chair. Let me also start by expressing my appreciation on your election as the chair of this ad hoc committee, and commit that indeed we will rally our support behind the leadership that you will be discharging to ensure that this matter is brought to finality. Chair, among the issues that we dealt with when we rose last year was the presentation that was made by Honorable Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and also the administrator, but also a reflection by the Honorable Premier Mokgoro on the work of the administrator. And there are a number of issues that were raised. I think what will be critical for us as the committees to ensure that emerging from those presentations, our research team will have to get down to flag some key issues that emerging from the work that they will be doing, making a reflection in terms of the progress that has been made, to ensure that as members, then we are then able to ensure that we are ready in March to finally report back to the House. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Karim.
Thank you, Chairperson. Firstly, as I understand it, there was a committee, Comrade Chair, in the previous term of the NCOP. So the question obviously overlaps with what others have asked. Did that committee actually do a report? And if so, obviously, we don't reinvent the wheel. We want to pick up from where that committee left its oversight on a Section 100 intervention ended. Well, what do they do? Do they do a formal report or do they do an informal report? We need to find out from the committee section. Advocate Tao is here. He might be able to pursue that and come back to you as a chair. Secondly, I think we need a content advisor and a researcher and so on. And this is something, you know, we expect, Chairperson, that you will have to negotiate with the committee section. But it's really to the third point, which is that, there seems to be, like, you know, if you look at the past history of the NCOP in the last term, a strange, well, not strange, but like a lack of clarity on what we are dealing with. And you have the new members in this committee we have, and maybe it's useful for somebody to explain to us, you know, especially the new members, what a Section 100 intervention is and what the role of the NCOP is. That might be a useful introduction, somebody from the Legal Services Unit of Parliament. But as I see it, look, maybe I'm wrong, but until now, I've understood that even if the problems, you know, in a province mainly around finances or human settlements or public works or whatever, ultimately they're about governance. And it's really about your committee, Chairperson, the one you permanently chair. It's about cooperative governance, about a failure also, whenever there's a provincial intervention required, of the national sphere, of the national government and the national parliament, both NCOP and NA houses, to play our roles. So really, it seems to me, you know, when you're negotiating about who should assist, maybe the cooperative governance staff, you know, should be sought the assistance of, because the researcher there and the content advisor know more about cooperative governance issue than, you know, the committee section, taking people from different committees. That's all I'm saying. Finally, you know, it does strike me, Comrade Chair, as you will know, that I'm afraid I don't know everybody on this committee and their past, but with somebody like Kenny around, who is the SALGA vice president and has got so much of experience, obviously of Section 139 interventions, but, you know, he obviously will have a sense of Section 100 interventions. There's a lot of experience here as well. So I'm very pleased that he's here. Personally, I would like to have seen, of course, it's the chief whip that decides, a few more cooperative governance members in this committee. But here we are. But I really think we've drawn the staff that are relevant to this area. Finances and so on can get sorted out. If we have governance working, if the right people are deployed as public representatives and in the executive of the provinces and as officials, half our problems can be solved, even some of them, as you know, Chairperson, more than mere structural. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. This is our first meeting We have just elected the chairperson of the meeting, and your contributions are quite good in terms of what is it that we need to do. But as a starting point, I will have a discussion with the originators of this process to check what documents are available, to check whether the previous reports are in place, to also check whether this committee has got the necessary capacity with the people with the requisite skills and expertise, legal, research, and all of that. And once we satisfied with all of that, we'll then accordingly report to the committee. I think within a very short space of time, we will have to call another short meeting where we are going to present the necessary information and the documents that are available to allow members to discuss. But at that time, we will also present a draft framework and roadmap about what is it that we propose we need to do, who to engage, stakeholders that we think are relevant, and based on the documentation that will be at your disposal, you will make good contributions about what is it that we must add, what is it that we must omit, when are we going to the Northwest, if we are going to do that in line with the situation of the lockdown regulation that we find ourselves in, what is the best method to accomplish this task in the context of that situation, and what is it that we need to do. And I think this is the better way in which to unfold all this particular process. And as I indicated, within no time, we will have to call the meeting with the necessary information in order for us to kickstart this particular work. And we will take care and into consideration all the issues and the points that honorable members have raised going forward. If that suffices and satisfy you, we will have to close this meeting on a note that we will have to convene another meeting with the necessary information, having done our work quite well. Is that okay, honorable members? Yes. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned until we meet within a very, very short space of time to ensure that we facilitate this. And thank you very much, honorable members. Thanks.